The version of Hawaii sold to a lot of visitors leaves out one of the most important parts of its history. Behind the beaches, resort backdrops, and Mai Tais is a sovereign kingdom whose government was taken actually twice. The first time it was restored, and the second time it wasn't. And once you understand that difference, you'll see Hawaii, I think, in a very different way, and why July 31st still matters in Hawaii. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best. I'm Brian Murphy, Hawaii destination expert and your personal guide to planning an unforgettable trip to Hawaii. This episode is being released on July 31st, and it's a day known as La Ho'iho I'ea, or simply Sovereignty Restoration Day. And here's really like the short answer right up front why this matters. This is the story of a recognized sovereign nation that lost control of its government twice and regained it once, and is still living today with the consequences of the second loss. I'm going to do my best to keep this clear and focused on why this even matters today, but it's important to know history. I think anywhere you travel to know the history of the place you are about ready to visit. So what happened in 1843? First, we need to just be clear about something. The Hawaiian Kingdom was a sovereign country, and it's still very much alive in a lot of parts of the island. Kamehameha I completed the unification of the Hawaiian Islands in 1810, and the kingdom developed a constitutional government, sent diplomats abroad across the world, signed treaties, and was recognized by other nations. Then, in February of 1843, British naval captain Lord George Paulet arrived in Honolulu over complaints from the British consul, including a disputed land claim. Paulet acted without authorization from the British government and demanded control of the Hawaiian government under threat of force. So what had happened was, rather than just risk an attack and the lives of his people, King Kamehameha III temporarily yielded authority under protest while appealing to the British government. The Hawaiian flag was lowered, the British flag went up, and for nearly 5 months, the kingdom was under British occupation. Then Rear Admiral Richard Thomas arrived, and he made it clear that Paulet did not have the authority to seize the kingdom. And on July 31st, at the place known as Thomas Square, the British flag came down and the Hawaiian flag was raised again. For the time being, Hawaiian sovereignty had been restored, and later that day at Kawaiʻaho Church, King Kamehameha III spoke the words that later became the state motto, O'omau ke'ea'o ka'aina I kapono. This is often translated as the life of the land is perpetrated in righteousness. In this setting, why it matters, the sovereignty of the land had been returned through an act of justice. So then we fast forward about 50 some years in the late 1800s, American and European business interests had gained a great deal of political and economic power in Hawaii. In 1887, King Kalakaua was forced to sign what became known as the Bayonet Constitution. Basically, it reduced the power of the monarchy and restricted the political power of many native Hawaiian and Asian residents. After King Kalakaua died, his sister, Queen Liliuokalani, took the throne in 1891. And what she did was she sought a new constitution that would restore authority of the monarchy and return political power to the people who had lost it. And her opponents definitely saw that as a threat. So in January of 1893, a small group of businessmen and political opponents of the Queen formed the Committee of Safety and moved against the Queen with support from John L. Stevens, the United States Minister to Hawaii. On January 16th, armed troops from the USS Boston landed in Honolulu without permission from the Hawaiian government. The next day, the Committee of Safety declared a provisional government. Basically, Queen Liliuokalani could order resistance and risk bloodshed, or yield under protest and appeal to the government behind the foreign troops. She opted to protect her people. And in her written protest, the Queen said she was yielding to the superior force of the United States until the U.S. government could review what happened under the actions of its representatives and restore her authority. that last part matters a lot. She did not willingly hand over the kingdom to the provisional government. She believed the United States would one day correct what its representatives had done. And later, President Grover Cleveland withdrew the proposed annexation treaty, and his investigation concluded that the overthrow had been supported by the American minister in the presence of U.S. troops. But the monarchy was never restored. So the provisional government became the Republic of Hawaii in 1894, and Hawaii was annexed by the United States in 18 through a joint resolution of Congress. And then fast forward 100 years after the overthrow, the U.S. Congress formally apologized for the overthrow with the participation of U.S. agents and citizens and for depriving Native Hawaiians of their right to self-determination. Why does this all matter? This huge history lesson. I think it matters a lot, especially for visiting Hawaii. And if this is your first time, for me, going back 20 some years, my first time to Hawaii, I had none of this context. And it really has helped me travel more responsibly, seek out those activities and those types of conversations when visiting. Knowing the context, I think, matters a lot. No matter where you and I travel, it's important to know the context. Even we were doing a road trip through Southwest U.S. and going in and out of different native territories. And it's important to know the story of those territories as well. So we did some, studying on that, which is really fascinating. So I think it's important just to know anywhere where you're going, the importance and the history of that place. And recently in 2022, the state of Hawaii officially recognized July 31st as a special day of observance. It is not a state holiday, but it is a day set aside to recognize the restoration of Hawaiian sovereignty and honor the Hawaiian community. And for many Native Hawaiians, obviously I can't speak for them, but my understanding is that the day carries a lot of meaning. So the next time you visit Hawaii, and especially the island of Oahu, and if you visit Iolani Palace, you are not walking just through some decorative, beautiful royal home. You're entering into the center of the government that was overthrown. If you hear someone speak about Hawaiian sovereignty, understand that the conversation is tied to documented history and a living community. And I think here's an important practical takeaway. Learn from Hawaiian-led museums, cultural organizations, educators, and community voices. Many of some that we've had on this podcast, so I would highly recommend going back, and I'll link some of those below as well. You can check the show notes below. So if this episode gave you a clear understanding of Hawaii, I'd encourage you to share it with a person maybe who you're planning a trip with or someone who loves Hawaii as much as you. And check below for some of those episodes. One of them is with Kamaka Diaz on how to engage with Hawaiian culture responsibly. And that's all linked below in the show notes. So happy Aloha Friday. I hope your weekend looking ahead is going to be a great one. And until next time, as always, live with aloha. Mahalo for listening to Hawaii's Best. If you found today's episode helpful, make sure to hit follow on your podcast app so you don't miss future episodes. You can find all links and resources mentioned today in the show notes below. Hawaii's Best is produced by Shorebreak Media Group, edited by Easy Podcast Solutions, and with music by our friends Stick Figure.